ayobudd. Let me hear it.
Yo, yo, welcome back to the fucking view. My name's Benji, also Darren, but you can call me Benji. I got here with me
Steven.
Steven. Tell him what you do, bro.
For a living?
Just in general, just whatever.
Shit. I sell senior living at a assisted living, meet families, and yeah, I get them introduced into what assisted living, independent living is. Outside of that, uh, my life mainly consists of spending most of my money on car parts and my
Yeah.
lovely girlfriend.
Oh, yeah. So what kind of car you got right here? I know it's an Accord, but tell the world what you got.
This what they call the gentleman's Type R. It's a 2.0 Accord. It's a 2021, so 10th gen Accord. They do got the K20 in them.
Yeah.
This one in particular has a MHI Stage 2 turbo, so it's a Type R turbo. It's the same housing,
Yeah.
but Mitsubishi Heavy Industries guts the interior of it, bigger inducer, bigger exducer, makes a whole lot of purrs.
Oh yeah. So I met you through the car group that we recently joined, like maybe like 2 months, maybe a month and a half. I'm not sure, but I'd say like 2 months at the most.
I remember.
Yeah,
I remember this was our introduction was getting these lights on, and
yeah, again, these bad boys slapped on here.
through a couple technical difficulties and issues with the manufacturer, they work
Yeah, fuck
as
yeah.
intended.
Now they fucking work. Thanks to my boy.
Eventually, it took 2 tries, but we figured it out.
We got it, bro. Third time would have been the charm, but the second time was. But
Worked out after some frustration and some bullshit.
yeah,
But it's been cool having you in Humble Society. That you feeling the family vibe?
yeah, it's pretty intense.
That's all we are. It's just one big family. I mean, I joined a little over a year ago, I think now, and that was when I was first getting into like the car scene. I mean, it's kind of hard to pinpoint where it started. Like, in a weird sense, it just started because I didn't like paying people to do things on my car that I felt like I can do. I felt like I had some bad experiences with some mechanics, so when I had to do some stuff to the car, I did it myself, and
Yeah,
I just kind of enjoyed it. So it was the day I got the interlock off my car. Actually, I was in a 2010 Honda Civic. Pulled up to the place. They pulled it out. I went across the street to the dealership, picked up a car. It looked almost identical to this one. It was a 2019 Honda Accord Sport. So that one had a 1.5 with the CVT.
okay.
And I didn't know what the different model options were. I was like, I liked cars, but I was still new to them. So I just wanted to kind of flare it up a little bit, give it some personality. It was the first time like I really went and did something nice for myself. I had a better job. I was in a better place in life, spent a little extra money on a nicer car, and just started doing some cosmetics on it. Got into some Facebook groups, learned about like the different things you can do with it, and that's kind of where it started. I mean,
so you kind of just taught yourself everything that you know now.
yeah, YouTube helped a lot at first.
Yeah.
So like it came to a point where like, you know, I wanted to do more than just like some basic cosmetics, because putting a front lip on is just, you know, pulling some tape and sticking it on. There's not a lot to it, but you know, I wanted to go fast. The car had a turbo. The 1.5s do have a turbo, so I've always loved the sound of a turbo. My buddy, when I was like 15, 16, had a WRX, and I just thought it was the coolest thing. I thought it was the fastest thing on wheels. It was pretty stock, but it was dope. You feel a turbo spool for the first time, and it's just something else. So
cherry on top.
Really was. So that's where it kind of started, just kind of chasing a little bit of power, chasing a little bit of sound.
Oh yeah.
I found out that the CVTs don't hold a ton of power, and everyone said to go get a 2.0. but I was stubborn. I took that fucker all the way. Full bolt on, had an
Yeah.
ethanol custom tune, K-tuner and all that.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was faster than it was, but it was at its limit. You know, the limitation of the CVT transmission was just apparent, and everyone who knew about cars would just continuously tell me that. And I got into a better position to where I felt like, okay, I want a 2.0. I want a 2.0, and they come with a 10-speed automatic. They can actually hold power. I was in the community at this point, so I'd like met some people and knew. I just get online and I'd look up shit day in and day out. And by the time I actually got one, I'd been looking for months for the same color, same 10th gen, but a 2-liter turbo with a 10-speed, looking all over the country. And then one just popped up in Santa Fe. One owner, no accidents, 7,000 miles on it. Some 75-year-old man just bought it, brand new, didn't drive much, traded it in for a newer model.
Damn.
And I picked it up. It had been listed like 2 days. I drove down there, signed for it same day, and here she sits. And then being it's a similar platform, so like, you know, the body styling and like where you go to buy parts is mostly the same, but these have a lot more potential. You know, it full bolt on. I went full bolt on with flex fuel and started doing a custom tune with that. The email chain is actually hilarious how this went. So I ended up blowing up the stock turbo. What led up to that was me talking with my tuner back and forth doing the e-tunes, saying like, I want to hit 20 pounds of boost, like let's make it happen. He sends me a file, I flash it, I go do a little test driving. I was hitting 20 pounds, I was stoked, I was like, fuck yeah. I emailed him back, hitting 20 pounds already, gonna send you a log in a bit. Next email is, I blew my car up. So it ended up stranded on the side of the road and got her towed home, and she sat there for a while. I mean, it was rough. I remember when I actually took everything apart to really get a good look at what had happened.
Yeah.
And it was worse. It was the worst case scenario. Like the entire intake turbine snapped off the shaft and just bounced around in there. There were pieces of just chunks of metal sitting, when I opened the inlet, just pieces of blade sitting on there. And
Yeah.
that's never good. You know,
Yeah.
It was shooting oil and all these small little particulates of aluminum up into the engine. So it was very, even now it's a little, the car is fine, but it's just internally for me, I'm like, is it all right? So
Yeah.
I ended up having to just take everything. But you were there for some of that. You saw me taking.
That was around the time I joined the club, and
You got
I helped you slap that turbo in there.
You got an introduction to how I work on cars aggressively. It's all love, though. I love doing it, no matter how pissed off I may seem. But yeah, I had to pull every bit of intake system off it all the way to the block and manifold. I learned a lot about the car then.
Yeah.
But I cleaned it all out, compression tested, borescoped it, and I mean, some slight scoring on the cylinder walls. But ultimately, after a month and a half, I could afford the MHI Stage 2. They're a little pricey. I had to get a new intercooler because it's not worth risking any of that metal living in it and just getting sucked up at one day. So got all that, got the new turbo. You have to get so many other little fixings to even put that turbo on, not to mention another tune. But I got all that situated. You were there, we dropped that fucking turbo in like it was nothing. You know, didn't even take that long to pull the old one off, get the new one in. And now we're right in the middle of the tuning process. I mean, with the setup it has now, and there's a laundry list of parts. I mean, we're looking to make like 430 to the wheel on ethanol. The ultimate goal would be 500 in the 500s, low 500s. I'd be happy with to the wheel. That's like the next stage, though. That's with like port methanol injection, and I don't really want to do it until I get some upgraded head studs.
Okay.
So that's where it's at now, and we're just in the middle of tuning. There isn't even any ethanol on it yet. But
so it's 430 right now?
Not yet. No, I couldn't tell you what it's at right now. I'm working with two different tuners, so I'm a couple revisions into it right now. We're still on 91, which is what we have out here. I
Okay.
mean, it's fast. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's still fast, but it's still on low boost, only pushing 20 pounds when the turbo's more than capable of 40.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a laundry list of parts, some niche little upgrades that get that extra little bit of power.
So I know you said that you wanted to learn all that shit. Like instead of going to a mechanic, you're like, fuck that. I want to learn it myself. Like, what made you like get into like the car scene? But besides that point,
You know, it's hard to pinpoint exactly what it was. I mean, like the life I've lived is, very checkered. Um, from like recovering from like alcoholism and
mm,
losing a lot of friends early on to like drugs or just murder in general. Um, I've ended up in like the wrong places. I was in a pretty toxic relationship for a while, and I think somewhere in there, like once I left that relationship and I just stopped making excuses. I
mm,
started working hard and felt like I earned something, and that's where I put like my time and energy. Was like if I wasn't working, I was working on the car. So part of that was just figuring out how. Like I wanted it to look good, I wanted it to drive well, and don't want to pay anyone to do it. So it just kind
yeah,
of like I had a goal in mind. So to get there, I had to learn how to do it. I mean, once you kind of get the idea of like how an engine works, it's not so scary to actually just jump in there with some tools and just start pulling stuff off because you feel like you know what you're doing
yeah.
and you can identify like, and I think that's what I like. It's just like
So to you, that was kind of like your escape, just like from whatever was going on in life at the time.
only recently have I actually started viewing it like that. It's probably what it's been all
Mm.
along, but something about not doom scrolling on TikTok or getting my ass kicked at COD, just getting into a car.
Yeah.
It feels good to know what you're doing, take something apart to bare bone, put it back together, and it perform how you intended it to. It feels really good.
Mm.
It's a sense of accomplishment that I felt like I lacked a lot throughout my early life, to where I just made excuses and bullshitted. To now I'm able to like get shit done. I can go and take a car apart, put parts on, make it work, and
Yeah.
it's just a good feeling. I don't know. It's hard to say. There is some type of tranquility to it, though. I'd say.
Well, also as a man too, like to be able to do that shit, that must make you feel proud. Cause there's shit I still don't even fucking know, bro. Like I'm just like, damn, like I wish I knew more than what I know now, but I know eventually I'll get there, and I'll be able to do either more or what and that's the goal for me. But
I guess you could say it takes a little practice, just
yeah,
getting in and doing it. It
yeah,
does help to have someone to help like guide the process. And
yeah,
I don't know, pride. I mean, I used to be so full of myself. Now it's just like I just try to stay humble. It's like a big thing with humble society.
yeah,
And I'm just happy to help. Feel like I'm, you know, useful. Like I
mm,
can do things for myself and for others. Like it feels good, and I can contribute to something bigger than me. A team, something where like my hard work can have results. And I guess that's where I'm at now. And I try not to get too hard on it, but like going to shows or events, and haven't won anything yet, but I do like the car I have goals for, and it's I often think, what do I do once I'm done?
yeah,
And I have ideas, but
hmm,
it's just been nice to be able to, I guess, do things for myself
yeah,
because I'm not I'm not as lazy as I used to be. I don't make excuses. It's like ripped the door off the hinges of my garage on accident, and it's like, oh, okay, but I know how to fix it. So
yeah,
just had to take the time, not be lazy, just get it done. And it's the same thing with the car. It's like, what do I want? Like the like attention's cool and all,
mm,
but Like, I think that's what that's what I tell my friends. It's like, why are you building the car? Like, what's your goal? Because I think defining that early on is gonna, one, keep you focused, but it's also gonna help ease like the stress that might come with it. Because like, if you're just clout chasing, I mean, that can be a really toxic environment. Because what I've learned is there's always someone better. There's always someone with more money. There's always someone who works out more than you, and just, you can't compare yourself to others. It's more about like, compare yourself to who you were yesterday or a year ago, and that's, part of who I am as a person. And I think the car is like an outward representation of that. It's like, where I started to what it is now, and
Oh yeah.
it's a big thing. And I like that a byproduct of all this was I met some really great people, and now I have some friends that you try to talk to me about anything besides like cars or, I guess, senior living, and I don't know much to say. Like, I'll listen and be cool, but outside of that, like,
it's just your passion, Doug.
I suppose so.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. It's fast as shit. There's something about taking a 4-cylinder and beating a V8 that just feels kind of hilarious.
I can see that, Doug.
It's just funny.
So besides all the car talk, what would you say, like, one thing in Albuquerque that's ever, like, the most memorable thing you could ever, or that's ever happened to you
Most memorable thing
in
that's
Albuquerque?
happened to me in Albuquerque. Shit. Oh man, I got more stories than I can count.
It doesn't have to be crazy, just something
No,
that...
it's hard to pinpoint. One, because I have a terrible memory.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll do like a good one. I don't know. I really remember like when I met my girlfriend Adriana. Like, this was like right at the tail end of me working like 80 to 100-hour weeks every week.
Yeah.
I had just like landed a new job. I'd be starting soon. It was like one of my last couple weeks at this bar I was working at, and she just happened to be there with her cousin, and she wasn't even in my section, but I don't know. I was just being myself, just being cool, said what up, and I was on my motorcycle at the time. So I played the good old, like, I saw them about to leave, and I went and hopped on the bike, just sat out there, like, inconspicuously, like, oh, you're leaving? Oh, it's good to see you. Hit her with the good old, you ever been on a motorcycle? The rest is history. We hung out really only a couple of times, and I feel like a hypocrite because I like preach to my friends like 3-month rule, like you don't get to know who someone really is until you've been around them for at least 3 months, so take your time. But that's not what happened this time. I always tell it like she stayed over one night and just never left. It was really, she came over and she asked what I wanted to eat, and I just said beef fried rice. She made some beef fried rice. And I just was like, every time she tried to go, I'd be like, you can stay. And now here we are. We've been living together ever since. And it's great, especially, coming from something so toxic. I think what it taught me was self-love and self-respect and like my own ambitions and goals and boundaries. And we just clicked on a lot of things real early on. And I can see like that she respects like everything that I have going on and my aspirations, even the more out there ideals for the future. She's right there with me. So I view that as like something really memorable. I mean, it's much more meaningful than just like the time we crashed that UTV or that time we were hitting up those chicks and all, like, it's just a better story with more meaning than I think a lot of things.
Yeah. Hell yeah, bro. I really appreciate you coming out, Doug. Before we wrap it up, I want to get all your mods on camera, bro.
You want every single one?
I want to see it.
All right.
Babe. All right, you go ahead and pop the trunk real quick. I mean the trunk.
I got to pop the hood and the trunk.
Hood, trunk, whatever.
I brought the katana to prop the hood open because it's which is dope.
Are you still recording, babe? Okay, just keep. That's just
It's gonna be hot. I'll put it up with this.
Oh, okay.
I get the Seward.
Shit was hot as fuck. All right.
Yeah, it gets pretty fucking hot.
Do you have your?
Yeah, I can pop the camera. I can pop the light out.
All right. All right. Okay. Yeah, explain what
tell me
you
when
got
you
right here. You're good. Show the katana real quick.
Oh
Katana.
yeah, I saw this on some post once, and I was like, I have a katana, so it's cool. It matches with the red theme.
It definitely does.
So we'll just kind of start from the top. So a lot of PRL stuff. PRL high volume intake. This is a conversion hose, so you need to run this in order to run this FK8 style inlet. So it's a turbo inlet. So conversion hose to PRL inlet. Right here we got a CCV catch can from Radium. This was really nice, just quality of life. There used to be a rat's nest of hard lines that ran through here, but this tucked them up real nice and neat, gave it a nice finish look. Type R engine cover, PRL oil cap, got a PRL engine or battery holder. HBS strut bar, painted that. I guess we follow the inlet here. That's that 62 millimeter MHI Stage 2 turbo, slapped to a Kenji Garage catless downpipe. It's all blanketed up from PTP. PRL charge pipes all the way through. You can't see it, but there's a Mishimoto intercooler on it. And then that's basically it for like those types of power mods. It's got a flex fuel kit tucked up back here. So PRL makes a nice flex fuel kit. It connects to the K-tuner in the car, so I actually get real-time ethanol readings. Painted everything myself. You got upgraded Hasport torque mounts. There's an upper one, and then there's a lower one as well. It's sitting on Royal bags.
How low my car is and how low his car is. Because goddamn.
Things kind of on its nuts.
Yeah, that is insane. Don't worry. Oh, fuck. It's okay. Shit. Damn.
You can get a toe in there. You can get about a toe.
You could get a whole leg under mine. God damn. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's got a fair amount of performance mods. I mean, it's enough to get it done. Something you can't see in here, and this is kind of a niche upgrade. It's tucked way back in there, but they haven't cracked the fueling on these yet, so they can't tune for fuel. But what you can do is take the OEM hardlines that go to the high pressure fuel rail, and they port and taper them. So it increases your fuel flow by about 7 to 8%, allowing you to overshoot that 400 horsepower limitation. It's really like, I have plenty of turbo. I run out of fuel. That's where that 4-port methanol injection is going to start coming in. Blacked out front, aftermarket badges. It's got a full Yofer kit. So it's got the front lip. It's got the side skirts. It's got the rear diffuser with the spat aprons. Sitting on some 20-inch Element wheels. Cannot remember the name of those. Yeah, those aren't real brakes. Those are just some covers, but they look nice. They're red.
Oh, yeah.
5% tin all around. HRS rain guards. They're the only ones who make these that are like, get out of here. That are like, oh, gross. That are actually like low profile. We wrapped the roof black. This was the first time I ever wrapped anything, and it was a mission and a half to get done. Guess we'll take her back here. It's got a full Rev 9 quad tip exhaust. The exhaust is full 3-inch. It's got some V4 style RGB taillights and the reflector lights. Blacked out badges, of course. It's got the white third brake light. The trunk's it's coming together. We got a decent little setup right now. I didn't bring a tool to do the little flip-flop trunk, but the trunk will flip-flop down. Super easy mod. It's like $5 to get some rivets and some hinges.
Damn.
But tank's hella dirty. Got the tank mounted up here. 2 10-inch Rockefeller Fosgate subs. I got this custom fit matting.
Smells good in there.
Yeah, I try, you know, got to get that new car scent from McGuire's. That shit is fire. The interior, we're gonna have, it's a little bit, floor mats are super dirty, but it's the same thing on the floor mats and the dash mat. Got the airlift controller there, as well as the K-tuner. It's a custom-made steering wheel cover, so I had to stitch this on myself. I've done a couple of them now. It's actually easier than you think. Just a couple accents here and there. 5% tin all around.
Wow.
It's coming together. We got plans, but we're sitting here for now.
Yeah, hell yeah. Heck yeah. Here, babe. Coming out, bro. I appreciate you and your time.
Absolutely.
And bringing your whip and showing us what it got, bro. But before we wrap it up, is there anything positive you want to say to everybody out here watching this shit?
Yeah, I mean, best thing I ever did for myself was stop making excuses. I mean, don't lie to yourself. Just take accountability. If you have dreams or aspirations, or you're tired of the way your life's going, just go look in the mirror. It's up to you, because no one's going to help you out. That's all I got.
Hell yeah. Well, I appreciate you. Shout out Steven. Shout out the Humble crew. Hopefully I could get
Shout
them
out
all.
Humble. Go check us
Hopefully I
out on
could get them on
Instagram.
here, but they suck at responding. So, hey, we're going to see what happens. Appreciate you, Doug. Everyone have a good night. Stay safe. Stay blessed.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Did I do all right?